Well, you have to start with Star Wars. And I've gone back and looked at the original Star Wars, and people say, oh, it looks so primitive. To me, it doesn't, because I think the job of a film critic is not to go as a film critic, but to go as close to the average film goer as possible. And I still think that was a technological breakthrough, particularly when they go into hyperspace or superspace, whatever they call it. I think hyperspace. But one of the other ones is another Spielberg film. I said to him, the last time I saw him, I said, it's because of you I haven't been in the ocean since Jaws. And then I said, look, I know there was one scene where you couldn't get the 3 mechanical sharks to work. This was in the pre-computer age. You had one that turned left, one that turned right, and one that went in the center. None of them could work. And you had to shoot that shot. He said, I remember we used the yellow barrels. That was a benefit to the film because it's your imagination. What horrible giant behemoth underneath the water must be there to move those barrels? If you'd had today's computers, you would have shown the shark as, you know, with CGI, whatever, and it wouldn't have been as good. The viewer had to work a little bit and use his or her imagination. And I think that, for me, that was a watershed. That's kind of like the dividing line between the birth of computers in movies and the work of genius that we see today. The other thing is, I can see a movie and really not recommend it, but if I'm not the target audience, and the target audience is usually kids for a lot of those movies, Transformers movies like that, say at least if you happen to see this movie, you can marvel at the special effects. The Jazz Singer was not an entirely talking picture. It started out kind of with mostly silent. Then he started saying, hey, wait, you ain't heard nothing yet. And that ended the careers of some people like John Gilbert and silent stars who would act with their eyes and do all sorts of acting that on screen in a talking picture began to look ridiculous. Particularly John Gilbert had a voice like that. I don't know what, I think it was Gloria Swanson or no, it was Greta Garbo. That was her boyfriend. And what she could see with a voice like that. But he was a very handsome guy. Singing in the Rain makes fun of that, where the actress goes, I can't stand it, and they dub her voice. And that, in a technical sense, was a huge, obvious, huge breakthrough. So was Technicolor. Some actors didn't look as good in color. And as things got better and better, actors used to say, this is my good side, that's my bad side. Today, that's considered nonsense because the cameras of today pick up everything. When Cinerama came, and VistaVision, and Todd AO, and those things were all coming on 3D in Cinerama in the 1950s, it was all because of the advent of television. They needed to smell-o-vision, all sorts of gimmicks, some of them silly, that were devised by the movie theaters to get you back into the theaters and away from the TV set. And today it's happening again. A lot of movies today are 3D movies with no apparent reason for making them 3D. I think it may detract some kind of films, but because people are at home with flat screen TVs and Amazon and Netflix and video games, and that's a threat to the movie industry. I hope anybody watching this gets the sense that we're in a terrific time when technology is not only increasing, but it's increasing by leaps and bounds, quality-wise. That what was fantastic 5 years ago is routine now, but the people who are behind these things are not complacent and blasé about it. They're always trying new things. I think 10 or 15 years from now, we may see holograms coming out in front of the set. That's not inconceivable now. Look, you can hold up your smartphone and see your friend. That'll be 3D. It might be holograms. All sorts of things are coming. And one discovery leads to the possibility of another one. And someone else will come along with it. That's constantly going on that we don't know about. We're just enjoying the fruits of their labor. And if you look at an old video magazine 10 years ago, the stuff looks antiquated. To start out with the TV, there's a TV that's not a flat screen. What do you do with it? You don't use it to make landfill. Things like that. A flat screen TV now is de rigueur. Everybody has one. Well, that's a constant ongoing process. And I don't think it'll ever overwhelm movies. It'll never be a movie just to see the technical aspects. I rue that day. But luckily, we have good actors and we have good screenwriters and good directors who can match their skills with the technicians to make something 5 or 10 years from now that will astonish us, visually and intellectually, hopefully, or at least entertain us.